What's going on, everybody? Chris Classic dropping a car vlog on a Friday, on the way to work. Tomorrow, I got a show in Wisconsin, run APL. It's gonna be dope. If you're in the Wisconsin area, we there. Game Day Sports Bar. Hope to see you guys there. God is good. God is great. Thank you for the word today. I was gonna say food because I'm hungry, but God bless you guys. If you have not heard today, I love you, God loves you, and also Christ loves you. I do pray, especially us adults, that we seek God more, we seek the Word, we try to understand it more. I do think that a lot of us are just going off of what our parents and grandparents say, but you have to have your own relationship. You cannot get in the backpack of your mom or your grandma or your dad or grandfather and go to heaven. You have to seek it yourself. So trust me, one of those things I had to do was seek myself because I had questions. So remember to always seek. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the C3 Ultimate Wrestling YouTube channel. Me and my wife's professional wrestling company in the Northwestern Indiana region. We got a show in Crown Point. June 10th, less than a month away, it's going to be the biggest show of the summer. I hope you guys will subscribe. I hope you guys will show up to the show. There's not a lot of things that I dislike, hate if you will, like certain statements. Like, don't get me wrong, like if it's pure evil, that's one thing, but just a common statement in wrestling. And this statement I really do not like. Like, I just do not like when people say it. Shut up and watch wrestling, or shut up and enjoy wrestling. I have a problem with that. As a fan first, wrestler second, promoter and booker third, because that's how I came into the business and my love for it. That is one thing that I do not like. Listen, just because somebody puts on tights and puts on boots, and even if they're on the mainstream to American wrestling companies or Japan, that does not make them a great wrestler. Maybe it's something about them. Maybe it's something marketable. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes, like, my main thing with a lot of wrestling these days is that it's a lack of psychology and believability. You get what I'm saying? Like, I do believe that, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I stopped watching wrestling after the Attitude Era, or when Stone Cold left, when The Rock left. But those things, those was more like storylines than actual wrestling, if you actually look at that kind of stuff. When you look at the Attitude Era, it was more of Stone Cold, you know, mudhole stomping. It was The Rock talking, Rudy Poo, and all that, you know. It doesn't matter what your name is. That was a little bit later. Triple H, you know, DX, Suck It, all that. You know what I'm saying? Undertaker, Ministry of Darkness, a church, of all things, a church. You know what I'm saying? But going into it, wrestling was like the minimal thing to get those ratings. It was more of on the edge things and stuff like that. But going back into it, you do see a lot of wrestling in the current market today. They try to emulate that, especially on the independent scene and stuff like that. It's more about larger than life characters than actual wrestling and things like that. Now, you did have some wrestlers in the Attitude Era that did use psychology and stuff like that. I think Stone Cold was one of them. The Rock, like the guys that I was saying, but most people remember the character, some of the moves, but the character more than anything. Character development is also another story that I've always talked about, because some people lack character. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you do not have a character, people may forget your name. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. You know, whatever. But going back into it, I'm a little goofy today. I do not like that. Now, the pros of having a lot of wrestling companies is a lot of people can have an opportunity to wrestle. When AEW came into the scene, a lot of people was happy because, you know, it was a breath of fresh air. They wanted to see competition with WWE and things like that. And not only that, a lot of these guys who wrestle there, they're millionaires, they're getting paid a lot of money. They can do independent dates, they can do their own business, they can do Twitch, they can do OnlyFans, they can do all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can do all of that stuff. But honestly, if I'm going to sit here and be like, this was the company that is supposed to bring people back to wrestling, and increase viewership in wrestling, period. To me, personally, I know people gonna comment. It ain't it, Chief. It ain't it either. If WWE is cheesy, cheese, McCheese face, and cheeseburgers, AEW, I don't think it's the one that's just gonna make everybody just come back and look at it. And when we look at ratings, and I don't always bring up ratings, but I do bring up ratings. You know, you would think that it would be more compelling than WWE. You know, it's not. People are looking at this. People who grew up looking at Chris Jericho is looking at him go against the guy in a mimosa match where they're throwing each other in orange juice. You know, and crazy storylines. We're looking at rehashed storylines, things that people criticize WWE on. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't enjoy some of this stuff, even if it's rehashed. I like some of it. I like a lot of it, but some of it is rehashed. Some of these people aren't believable. There's no psychology in the match. And I'm not crapping on AEW. I'm talking about WWE too. WWE, though, for the past few years have been more solid to me. Except like a couple storylines where I felt like they either dropped the ball or the wrong person won or lost. But WWE is a paragon. So like what Atlas says, what they do, it can affect other things and things like that. They can change the direction. They can change the narrative of wrestling. They can do all of this stuff. And AEW can say they are a competition, but eventually they'll follow suit if they do certain things and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? You know, that's why I thought it was laughable when people say, well, you're a hardcore fan if you watch AEW. And I made a video. I'm like, well, what's a hardcore fan? Because you know these people's real name? Because you know where they live? You know how many kids they got? That's kind of stalkerish, bro. But what they're trying to say is because they watch it on the independents and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I do believe a child can be as much as a hardcore fan as an adult. You know what I'm saying? I truly do, you know. They may have access to the internet, but maybe they're just a fan of what they see on TV and they don't see independence because either they don't know about it. Like, you can be a hardcore fan of wrestling, you can be a hardcore fan of a company. It doesn't matter. But when people just say shut up and watch wrestling, I'm like, no, I dang near take it as a sign of disrespect. I don't have to. First of all, a lot of people don't even like being told what to do, right? So then you say just shut up and watch wrestling. Is it, you know, that I don't, nah, that's disrespectful to me. And like, if you want to shut up and watch wrestling, that's on you. But I can criticize. Fans can criticize. People who don't watch wrestling, who may look at it for the first time, they're entitled to criticize. Now, I'm not even coming from a hateful place or wretched place, let's say, or wicked place when I say these kind of things. Now, I do know that some people are, but I'm not. So, I don't, like, if I don't like something, I can go online and talk about it. You know, people go online all day, talk about companies they don't like, things they don't like, jobs they don't like, and stuff like that. Wrestling is not above or below that. Like, people are going to talk about it. I post stuff about wrestlers all the time, and people sometimes randomly say I'm not a fan of it. And that's their opinion. I don't really get on them. That's their opinion. It might not have been asked, but that's how they feel. I'm on a public thing. Like what Arshawn says, shout out to Critically Drinking. It's just like when you put stuff out there, you have to realize that there is a consequence of putting it out there, even if your intentions are good, because somebody's going to say something. Somebody's going to react to it or whatever like that. Now, we can have a dialogue, and yes, we can debate about certain things and things like that, but that's just what it is. You know, if you want to sit here and say AEW is better than WWE, that is your choice. If somebody wants to sit here and says WWE is better than AEW, that's their choice. I'm here to tell you that C3 Ultimate Wrestling is better than both of them, and you guys should get a ticket for 10, the show of our shows, June 10th. You should watch it when it releases on the C3 Ultimate Wrestling channel. You should subscribe. You should subscribe. But that's my fact. Everybody else has an opinion about what company is better. My fact is C3 Ultimate Wrestling is the move to look at. You get what I'm saying? And I'm also saying that you can be a wonderful fan of C3 Ultimate Wrestling and be a fan of WWE and a fan of AEW. Or you could be a fan of C3 Ultimate Wrestling and not a fan of AEW or WWE or either one. But you will always be a fan of C3 Ultimate Wrestling. You see how I did there? You got to promote some stuff. I'm not gloating, I'm promoting. That is bars. That for no reason. But going back into it, yeah, I don't have to just enjoy or watch it. If it's not good, I can comment on it. You know, people comment on things they don't like every day, and it's just like, oh well, Chris, you're a wrestler or you're a promoter and stuff like that. We should do this and we should do that. And I'm like, you need to go somewhere, because as a wrestler and a promoter, I say a lot of things us wrestlers shouldn't do and what we should keep sacred, like our locker room. But people do vlogs, backstage vlogs. Me and him is in a storyline where he slept with my wife, but in real life we're eating Cracker Barrel chicken and dumplings. Those are good, by the way, with hot sauce. People do this kind of stuff. And, you know, WWE did it too with Total Divas. There's the, hey, my name is Trinity, but I go by Naomi on WWE. Like, WWE has done it too. So I'm not even just, you see how I'm talking? Like, a lot of people, it's not, I don't even do this all access thing. It's all that. You know, I was gonna do a oh, that's good, behind the scenes thing of how I do shows, right? It's a preview kind of on the YouTube page of Take Home Podcast, this podcast channel. I never released it because I was like, we as wrestlers, we need to have something sacred. I don't need to show everybody this. I don't need this and that, because believability is just at a all-time low with wrestling. People already say that kayfabe is dead. I think it's on the thread, literally on the thread. Now we can sew on to it and have things. We can have it hold on, or we can just have it fall. And it's just it. That's some good water. I don't even drink water. But going back into it, yeah, you can have an opinion. I just don't like when people do that. And for example, that's just like, you know, as a man and as a black man, C3 Ultimate Wrestling is not only a business, it's also a black-owned business. So I see sometimes people be like, well, you just need to support it because it's a black-owned business. And I'm like, you can't tell me what I should support. And even if you're white and it's a white-owned business or anything like that, people don't have to support it because you have some kind of relation with skin tone or melanin or lack thereof. You don't have to. And if something is bad, it's bad. And that's what I hate, when people review stuff. Oh, well, bad service. And I'm not saying all businesses of any color have bad services. I've had a mix of both. But when I say it's bad, or somebody say it's bad, oh, well, you just need to shut up and support because there's not a lot of companies out there. There's not a lot of companies out there that's doing this. I'm like, well, if they all act like this, we about to have a lot less. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Me as a promoter, I try to bring the best wrestling ever. You know, even on in the Midwest, I try to do something different kind of matches, debuts. I try to do things different. Now, everybody else tries to do something else or whatever like that. And somebody may have left their C3 Ultimate Wrestling show and I liked it. Probably just one. Maybe less than that. But at the same time, I'm listening. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and tell them you need to shut up and watch the show. That's very disrespectful. I don't have to do that. You know, so I have a lot of people who like the product, who get excited when C3 Ultimate Wrestling, the show is popping up. And I love it. And I think it's pretty dope. And I appreciate everybody rocking with me. I appreciate people like Arshawn buying tickets. So people can get in free, or people are just showing up to help with ring crew and things like that, or promoting the show and asking for flyers so they can put in their business. Shout out to Miss Cassandra. God bless you. God bless y'all. Dope thing. Real dope stuff, and it really does feel good. But what I will not do is tell somebody to just enjoy this. I just say, let me show you something that you will enjoy. There's a difference. There's a difference between telling someone to enjoy than just enjoy. That just is always a word that can turn something into a disrespectful statement. For example, if I say you're a teacher, that's one thing. But if I say you're just a teacher, that is disrespectful. So when you say just watch wrestling, that is also in that same statement. Oh, I'm talking today. That is also in that same statement. You get what I'm saying? Just shut up and watch wrestling. Just enjoy wrestling. Now, people have a right to complain. Sometimes people, you know, they say things is not as big as it is. And that's my opinion too, but they're entitled to it. I'm not sitting here saying you got to listen to them or you got to support what they say or whatever like that. But when you try to group everybody together and say, just enjoy, just be happy that wrestling is on a lot of platforms. But then it's like, it's not making a lot of money as it used to. Now there's a couple people, a couple things that are making money and stuff like that. And shout out to them and all that. But at the same time, it's not what it used to. You know, I sit here, I look at the business get exposed a lot. I look at people get on Twitter, talk about the company and stuff, and people, oh, it's a work, it's a work, it's a shoot, it's a shoot. And maybe it is. But at the same time, I don't have to partake in that. I don't have to support that. And I can also post my opinion, or I don't have to. That's it. Simple as that, yo. What's wrong with y'all, man? Just. That just can turn a statement to unjust. I am speaking today, y'all. And boy, I'm speaking today. But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys like those kind of statements? Just shut up and watch wrestling, or just enjoy wrestling, or you don't have to watch it. And that's true. I don't have to watch it, but I can also be critical of it. You know, people talk about stuff all day. So what makes you think I don't have to? I have a podcast, right? I have a channel. I have a lot of things that I have going on, and I thank God for that. And I'll be honest, because I have a lot of people who know me and things like that, and I feel like my merit and stuff is on the line as a person that is trying to protect the business. But that's just me. I just pulled up to work. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? It's an open discussion, you know. We can all talk about it. I hope you guys having a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.